Praise the Lord, and thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the Angaza Show 2025. Happy New Year, and I hope your celebration for the holidays was amazing. We bless the Lord for this opportunity. Crossing over is not just a coincidence, but it's a very big blessing. You know, we are already at a quarter of this phase of 100 years, 24 years. Now we are getting into the 25th year. Very prophetic and very significant, and we bless the Lord for everything that He's doing. And today we'll be looking at something we call the power of goal setting. Anytime you step into a new time, anytime you step into a new frontier, it's very important to plan, because failure to plan is actually planning to fail. So whether you plan or you don't plan, at the end of the day, you end up planning knowingly or unknowingly. Thank you very much. This is a very powerful and a conversation that we all need to have. What we need to understand is that a calendar flip without a change of certain behaviors will not affect anything. You'll just move from an year called 2024 to 2025. There are things that are very important for us to begin to see results. Somebody said that, foolishness is doing the same thing but expecting different results. There has to be a change of how we do things for there to be a change of the results we have been seeing. And if you're tired of the results you've been seeing, then you must be accommodative enough to appreciate that there are things that you ought to change. And one of the things that I'll begin as laying down as an introduction is that life and success is not accidental. Success is not accidental. Every successful person will tell you that these three things are very important for anyone to achieve success in life. Number one, life is governed by laws. Life is governed by laws. Life is governed by laws. What do I mean by laws? Laws are supposed to be obeyed so that there are no consequences. Anytime there is disobedience of the law, there is consequences, and sometimes there are things that happen to you that are not very okay. And anytime there is obedience of the law, again, you are always on the right side of the law. You see, when you are driving, there are what we call the laws of traffic. When you observe the lane, you observe the lights, and you don't overspeed where you're not supposed to overspeed, then there is a reward. No one will stop you. There will be no charges and no penalty. But when you bypass all the laws of traffic, you overspeed, you pass the lights, and you break all the laws of traffic, then the other side of the law will deal with you. There will be penalties, and there will be a price to pay. And such is life. There are specific laws of life that have to be obeyed. One of them is the law of hard work. The law of hard work. No matter where you are in life, you will never replace hard work. I know people will always say that, we need to work smart. That's no problem. But even in working smart, there is still energy and effort consistently being applied so that there can be change of the results that you're seeing. So in this year, begin to be a master of the laws that govern life. Begin to master the laws that govern life so that you can be on the right side of life. Number two, life responds to principles. Life responds to principles. Principles are things that we learn, but knowing them without implementing them will never help us. Principles are things that we learn. Like right now, I'm sharing very powerful principles of life. But knowing them without implementing them will never help in life. A principle is a function that alters results. A principle is a function that alters results. 1 plus 1 equals to 2. 1 minus 1 equals to 0. So what has changed there is the principle. The additional principle will give you a different results. The subtraction principle will give you a different result. And life is governed by specific principles. Specific principles. And it is those who have mastery of the principles of life that end up ruling and benefiting in life. So this year, purpose to understand the principles that govern life. One of the things that we need to understand is that life has offered all of us 24 hours. It will take specific principles to utilize the 24 hours. One of the principles that is very key when it comes to life management is how you plan your time. It's a principle thing. Do you have a diary for 2025? Or are you the one who wakes up and waits for the day to carry you? It is managers of time that end up having results in life. Anyone that does not value time will never have results in life. Time is a constant factor. Both the rich and the poor have 24 hours. No one gets a 25-hour. But men of principle are able to manage and govern the 24 hours to get the best out of it. And number 3 is that life answers to disciplines. Life answers to disciplines. There can never be results if there is no discipline. And discipline simply means there are things you have to do in 2025, not because you feel like, not because you want to, but because you ought to. When you are sick and you go to the hospital, it is the discipline of attending to the subscription that guarantees your healing. So if you are given specific medicines and you're told you need to take medicine number 1 at this time, 8, the second one you take it at 1, and you are not disciplined enough to take the drugs as scheduled, automatically you'll not get out of your sick bed. So discipline simply means you don't do things because you want. You do things because they ought to be done. Majority of us don't wake up in the morning because we want. But there is a discipline that I need to wake up because there are things that need to be done. Discipline is not a gift of the Holy Spirit. Discipline is not an impartation that comes by the laying on of hands or anointing. Discipline is a culture you cultivate. Many people that have been successful in the gym, when you go to many gyms, they always write that there is no gain without pain. Meaning that you must count the pain of the gym, and when you focus on the gain from the gym, then the pain will not hinder you from accessing the gym. You must always count what you are losing, what you are gaining vis-a-vis what you are losing. One author wrote and said that in this life you have 2 options: either to embrace the pain of change and transition, or to embrace the pain of regret. Discipline is what will separate you from regret. And so as early as now, begin to exercise. It has been studied globally. Successful people are people that operate under a routine. For there to be a routine, there must be discipline. You must discipline yourself to wake up at a certain time. You must discipline yourself to do certain activities and to follow your program. Self-discipline is very important, and that will help you achieve the results. Now, there are 5 areas as you're planning your life that are very important to focus on. As you're setting the goals in this year, you need to focus on these 5 areas. Remember, I've said these 3 things are the things that will make you have success. You need to understand the laws that govern life. You need to understand the principles that govern life, and you need to master disciplines that help you produce results. There are 5 things that are very important. 6 areas that when you are planning around your life, these 6 areas must be put into consideration so that 1, you can have what we call balanced planning, and you can have a very healthy and vibrant planning of the year. As you're setting goals, you need to consider these 6 areas. I'll mention them. We're going to take a small musical break, and then I'll come back to them. Number 1, the first area you have to set goals upon is matters your health, and we'll come to that. You can write this down. The first one is you must set goals around your health. Number 2, you must set goals around your academics, or what we call personal development, knowledge growth. I'm putting it as academics. You must set goals concerning that on personal development. You must set goals on that. Number 3, you must set goals on your finances. As you are focusing 2025, you must structure and set goals on your finances. Number 4, you must set goals on your spiritual life. You must set goals on your spiritual life. Number 5, you must set goals around your family. Family is very important, and you can't leave family out of this. And number 6, you must plan and set goals around your relationships. Relationships. So number 1, you need to set goals around your health. Number 2, you need to set goals around academics or personal development or knowledge growth. Number 3, you need to set goals around your finances. Number 4, you need to set goals around your spirituality. And number 5, you need to set goals around your family. And number 6, you need to set goals around your relationships. So see you in the next segment as we'll be articulating wisdom on how to handle these 6 areas. And you're going to have a 360 and a very effective year if only you abide by the instructions that you're going to receive today. So welcome back. In the previous segment, I shared on the 3 forces and 3 things that you must master. Number 1, you must master the laws that govern life. You must master the principles that govern life. And you must be disciplined enough for you to make sure that this thing work. I've seen many people set goals, write New Year resolution, but they never materialize because without these 3 things, they will never come. There are 6 areas that I want us to look at: your health, your academics, your finances, your spirituality, your family, and your relationships. I read the story of one of the greatest American president, Roosevelt, and the man was very sick. And the father looked at him and told him, you have a functional head, because he was very bright, but he was sickly. He told him, you have a functional head, but you have a weak body. And the father told him, for you to succeed in your dreams and your ambitions, you must have a functional head and a healthy body. And this is the reality of life. We need to take care of our health. Many people have dreams, but they don't have the capacity to even step out of their beds and all that. When we are dealing with our health, number 1 is very important for us to do routine checkups. Don't ignore on anything. Especially wakati umefika kama 40 years of age, begin to do a major health checkup. Don't go to the hospital because you're sick. Just check up, make sure that everything is okay. The second thing, check on your diet. They say people become what they eat. Begin to check on your diet. Not everything that is consumable works for you. Check on what works on you. You can also see, they say January is the time when everyone goes to the gym. A joke is made when they looked outside and they said, oh, the gym parking is packed, and they said it's January. Wait for March, nobody will be here. So people need to begin to have these disciplines of working on their health. More so, a part of you must also be intentional to work on your mental health. We live in a generation where many people are going through depression, anxiety attacks, paranoia, and all these things. You need to have a way of working on your mental health, because no matter how big your dream is, without health, you cannot accomplish it. So you need to design goals on how am I going to work on my health in 2025? Am I going to take more water? Am I going to cut down on carbohydrates? Am I going to cut down on this junk food? Am I going to eat healthy? Am I going to the gym? Am I going to possibly for cancer screening, prostate, cervical, and all that? But you must set goals concerning your health, and they must be measurable and achievable. The second thing, you must also set goals on your personal development, knowledge growth, or what I call academic growth. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop leading. If you want to go to the next level is tied to the knowledge you have. You can never go further than what you know. Sometimes it's key to use what is in your pocket to put something in your head, because one day what is in your head will put something in your pocket. Competition in the corporate world and competition outside there is not just a competition of goods and services. It's a competition of who knows what. And we live in an age of knowledge. You can either go back to school, you can either look for channels. Like right now, I'm going through leadership classes online. Knowledge is all over. And I tell you the truth, you seek it, you'll get it. The internet has millions of books, audio, visual. you can learn a new skill before the end of the year to improve yourself. Your next level is connected to what you know. If you're in the career, what do you want to do this year? To add value from your certificate to diploma, diploma to degree, degree to masters, masters to PhD. You can always add value to yourself. And that is how you grow in this life. Make sure you're planning something that before the end of the year, you will be a step ahead in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills, and in terms of a certain practice. I've discovered that many people settled early. Somebody said, pride is the product of short dreams. But the moment you have a big dream, you will never stop working and you'll never stop learning. So continue growing and adding value. Set to read a book every day or every month. Set to listen to audios, videos, learn something, and grow yourself. The more you add value to yourself, the lesser the competition is. Number 3, you need to plan around your finances. I know we are in a very tough economic time. You need to ask yourself, what is my saving culture? How am I growing my finances? Money flows. Money is like a seed. You can either waste it or you can grow it. It takes wisdom, living within your means, looking at my current earning and asking myself, how do I grow this? There are many teachings on that. There are people who call it the 60-40 principle, where you have to make sure that around 40% 60% is what you spend and 40% is what you actually invest and grow. You cannot be paying rent. 90% of your money cannot be going to rent. You are not wise at the end of the day. Some habits must come down. You're hooked to betting. You don't have a budget. You're a window shopper. You shop haphazardly. There are disciplines that have to be put on finances. Cut down on debt burden. See how you can grow your money from one coin to another. Invest in areas where your money will grow. Do research on financial investment. Don't go with the wind. So in money, you must ask yourself on the language of investing, on the language of growing, on the language, should I borrow and invest, grow a certain thing? And also, when it comes to finances, you must look at where am I putting my money in assets or liabilities. Financial literacy is one of the key elements to reduce poverty. A research was done and they said, if all the money globally was collected and put in one pocket and everybody, and the money is shared and the money is distributed equally, they said sometimes the rich will still be rich and the poor will still be poor. Because the literacy of finances and discipline of handling finances is a culture you have to cultivate. Invest in assets, not liabilities. Number 3, you must work around your spiritual life. Work on your prayer life, study life of the Bible, your devotion life, because when everything fails, spirituality becomes the backbone and what will hold you in the deepest of waters, in the deepest of battles, and when everything else is not working, you realize that spirituality will work for you. This is very important. I see many people fast in January and make it like, oh, I just prayed. Work on your prayer life. Work on your study life. Work on your spiritual, attending church, becoming faithful, attending services, attending Bible study, attending fellowships. Let this year be an year of spiritual revolution, because that will take you very far. There are many incidences in life that can never be solved financially. They have a spiritual origin. And number 5, you need to also work on your family. When it comes to family, if you're married and you're running a family, you need to create time for your family. Remember, at the end of the day, children and family, they will never remember the bills you paid. They will remember the time you spent together. Memory is not tied to bills or presents. Memory is tied to your presence. Audit your life. Audit the family. Begin to interrogate, are there relationships within the family that I need to improve? At the end of the day, when all is said and done, family will always come first. I know there are relatives, sometimes maybe toxic and all that, but I'll tell you, within your family, there are relationships you need to work on. There are people you need to analyze and see how to deal with them. But above all, invest in your family. Friends will go, everybody will go, but your family will always be there. For those who are not married, check on your relationship with your parents. Check on your relationship with your siblings. How is it? How well are you doing it? How well are you connected and bonding? And finally, where you need to set goals is on relationships. We have relationships that are working. We have relationships that are toxic. We have relationships that we need to pursue. There are three of them. They are working relationships. These are beneficial. They add value to you. They make you a better person. Keep them. Relationships that are toxic, cut off and leave them. Anything that makes you bitter and not better, walk out. And also there are relationships you need to pursue. In the corporate world, they say your net worth is equal to your network. So there are relationships that you need to pursue. Strategize on the 6 pillars, and you're going to have a very balanced 2025 and a very healthy 2025. May God bless you. My name is Pastor Tim Mwangi. Have a prosperous new year. And I want to thank the team behind the camera and also the production team and KBC for giving us this amazing opportunity that we can speak to you. Remember the 3 things and the 6 pillars. And I can tell you, 2025 will never be the same again.